like to start this session with one simple question. Not a trick question, it's very easy to answer this. Is there anyone in this room that has never flown in an airplane? So if you've never traveled in an airplane, I'd like a show of hands. 1, 2. It's about 500 people, 3. There's about 500 people here, and I see 3 hands. So the vast majority of us have flown in airplanes. I'd like you to think this through. Reflect on this, what you are doing. You voluntarily go to a big metal box. You go inside, strap yourself down. Someone closes the door. And that big metal box gets thrown in the air with great force. And there you are, in that big metal container, 30,000 feet, drinking a cup of coffee, enjoying a movie. It's not a very natural thing to do, is it? Still, we all do this. We all feel safe. We all put our lives in the hands of the capable people flying the aircraft. First thing that happens. If I would have asked 100 years ago who would like to ride an airplane, people would have said, no, we don't want to do this. It's a very dangerous thing to do. But still today we do that. We gladly, without blinking an eye, go into an airplane. How did this happen? Shortly after the Second World War, a bunch of very, very smart people had a conference in Chicago. And they said, well, there's this new technology, airplanes, which was used in the war. Let's try and use this new technology to the benefit of mankind. What if we could organize it such that everyone is able to fly anywhere in the world in a safe way? We could bring people together. And if people get to know each other, they won't fight. So it might very well be a means of reducing the probability of war. That was the outset. The result of that conference was the Chicago Convention. And the Chicago Convention today is still the document that drives the aviation in the world. Chicago Convention gave birth of ICAO, which is the International Civil Aviation Organization. And that organization defines all of the rules which are applied everywhere in the world. It defines who can fly airplanes, where you can fly them, who can maintain them, and it also defines that everyone in the aviation industry has to know the rules. So everyone in the aviation industry gets trained on those rules. It's the professionalism and the discipline of the professionals in the aviation worlds that makes us trust the aviation world. The airspace as we know it is a very safe place to be in. At least it was. Today, we can all go to a shop and buy one of these, a drone. So all of a sudden, you have a situation where this very safe environment, this very safe airspace, gets invaded by devices flown by people that have no idea about aviation safety. They don't know what the rules are. And that's a problem. Fairly recently, there was a number of events that happened. Think about Gatwick, Heathrow, Newark, Dubai. When drones start to appear in this very safe airspace, and people don't know about them, everything shuts down. For good reason. What if you are in your airplane and you realize that a drone might appear in front of that airplane and crack the window of the pilots? Big problem. It's a problem that is worldwide, and it's a problem that needs a solution. And that's what we do. We have developed a technology that wants to serve all the stakeholders in the aviation industry, including the drone pilots. You can look at it as a big piece of software that provides information to drone users where they can fly, cannot fly, things they can do, not do. It provides tools for them to notify the aviation authorities about the fact that they will be flying. It gives the aviation authorities an insight of where drones will start to appear. It gives them the tools to know where drones are so they can actually do deconflicting between manned and unmanned aviation. So it's a tool that enhances the safety in the airspace. A concept like this is called UTM, Unmanned Traffic Management. It's a new industry. 5 years ago, no one was active in this. We are quite a young company. We started in 2015. Today, we are the market leader in the UTM space. We are growing very fast, and we have raised quite a bit of money to be able to be that market leader. Now, people have been coming up to me and said, Mark, you now have a fairly successful company. From idea to world market leader, how do you do that? How did you do that? Well, for me, there are 3 parameters that need to be in place in order to become such a market leader. First of all, you have to have a bright idea. Secondly, you have to have a good team. And thirdly, you have to have good financing. Bright idea, yeah, we had this bright idea because we come from the aviation world. The best ideas are those ideas that solve or deal with an international problem. And believe me, there are a number of challenges in the world today. Think about global heating, think about pollution, think about the fact that the population in the world is growing, and the growth is primarily in big cities, so the mega cities are becoming really, really big. Creates all sorts of problems. There's one idea that I've been playing with that I just want to throw out here. I've not done anything with it, but I would like someone to pick up the idea. One of the things that is happening in the world is that the baby boomers are gradually coming of age where they want to go on a pension. And there's a large number of those. For those who don't know what baby boomers are, in the 50s and 60s, the fertility was high, let's put it this way. So a lot of people were born, and they are now getting to their 60, 65-year-old, and they still want to be very active. They go on a pension. And there's a combination of things here. A large number of people at a certain age, you have a pension, lots of time on their hand, and you're very concerned about their health. If you put all of this together, there might actually be a market out there for health centers for 60 and 65 plus. So if there's anyone out there that wants to pick up the idea and start a franchise, I will become one of your customers. Oh, not now, but 10, 15 years from now. Okay. So once you have an idea, one of the first things that you need to do is validate it. Because you might have a really, really good idea, but the world might not be prepared for your idea. So typically, people think about market surveys and asking customers and so on about the validation of ideas. In this day and age, there are a lot of competitions that you can enter into. They're very often called a pitching competition. How does it work? You go on a platform like this, and you talk about your idea, and there's a jury that will score your points, yes or no. And if you're on top, then you know you have a good idea. If you're on the bottom, you might reconsider things. So that's what actually we did. Before the creation of the company, we had built this prototype, and we entered a contest, the Swim Masterclass. It's a contest, a technology contest in the world of air traffic management. That year, we're talking 2014. That year, there were 81 contestants. We didn't win. Sorry, guys, we didn't win. But we did come in second. And the number one company was Airbus. So this little prototype of these few friends in this massively important competition was second to Airbus only. We are very proud of that. But that did 2 things for us. First of all, it made us realize that we had created something that could be of value. And that's when we started the company. Secondly, it put us on the radar screen of the entire world of air traffic managers. Our potential customers, our potential partners, all of a sudden knew us. So we had a quick start into this UTM business. Second element that has to be there is the team. And that's probably one of the most important elements. Unifly was created by 4 individuals who amassed some of their savings and created this little company. We had 2 air traffic controllers, 1 pilot, 1 scientist. But very early on, they were quite ambitious. And they said, yeah, with this technology, with this idea, we could actually become a world leader. Within weeks, literally within weeks, they realized, we don't know how to do this. It's one thing to have an idea, it's a totally different thing to build a company with that. So they wanted to have a 5th partner in the game, a CEO with experience in international business and would be able to grow the company. So that's how I got involved in Unifly, with the objective of growing the company. But realize the psychological process that these founders went through. They founded a company. It was their baby. And within weeks, they said, we can't do this. We need to have extra know-how to run with this baby. Quite unique. And it says something about the quality and the maturity of the founders of this company. And that's one of the uniqueness about Unifly. Third thing is finances. If you are very ambitious, and that's what you want to be, you have to have money. So unless you have a big bank account yourself, you will need to get external funding. If you have a new idea in a new market, something that no one has thought about, try your luck with the banks. Been there, done that. I won't go into that. So we started to talk to VCs, venture capitalists. Venture capitalists typically are the companies that have a pot of money, and they will invest in young companies or some older companies with the objective of selling the shares after a while and make a profit. That's how they make their money. So take the book, who are the VCs, and start sending out files. So the typical procedure is you send a pack of information. Now these companies get dozens of files every day, so they make a filtering, and they will invite the best ones. So dozens and hundreds of files we sent. So, but we got invited to a few companies, and we did a pitch. Extremely important moment in the life of a company. You have your idea, and you have to explain your idea to a bunch of people that don't know what you're talking about. It's a very challenging thing to do. But ultimately, we found 2 venture capitalists that were prepared to take the risk. Those venture capitalists are typically early stage venture capitalists. So we raised 1.2 million euro, which is enough to get us going. What we did in that first year of existence, we made sure that our name got out. So we went to conferences and seminars and spread the word of, this is Unifly, we're doing UTM. Also, that the fact that we were the runner-up in this competition helped our credibility. And one day, I'll never forget it, walks in the door of our office, very tiny little office, a Japanese guy. And I thought he wanted to discuss how he could use our software to run his business. And after the second sentence, I said, well, what are these questions? This is not normal. And he said, well, Mr. Kegelaers, we've looked around in the market and we want to be in the UTM market. Would you be willing to accept me as an investor in your company? After 3 seconds of persuasion, yes, I said yes. So ultimately, that was our A round, that is called. And just last year, we had a B round. One of our first customers, the Deutsche Flugsicherung, the German air traffic controller, have been using our software a few years, but we have become so critical for them that they actually wanted to invest and have a stake in our company. So right now, we've raised quite a bit of capital. So we have the 3 ingredients: a very bright idea, an excellent team, and funding to grow the company. And the ambition is there. We want to be the #1 in this new industry of unmanned traffic management. And I think we are. Our competitors wouldn't agree, but I think you are. There's a fourth element that I want to add to the mix, and that's a lot of things. Hard work, stamina, be prepared to be disappointed when you talk to VCs and banks and so on and so forth. So the message that I want to bring is it possible in Belgium to create a world leader in its field? Yes, for sure. We're doing it. If we can do it, anyone can do it. Just make sure that you have the right mix of people, idea, financing, and hardware. Thank you very much.